Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always exciting to get into a new topic.
This time we're headed to the south, to a place that has beauty history and a spooky side.
You know, a place after my own heart.
Myrtles Plantation in Louisiana.
Built in 1796.
So we're talking antebellum South.
Oh yeah, plantation life, the whole 9 yards.
And supposedly.
One of the most haunted places in America.
So for our listeners who are into historic homes
Especially with a little mystery.
and a taste for the luxurious,
Myrtles is right up your alley.
it's got 22 rooms, imagine that,
Spread over 2 floors.
10 acres of land.
Oh wow.
You get those classic southern vibes, right?
Absolutely.
We're talking St. Francisville, Louisiana.
Dripping with charm.
And you walk up to this grand house, and there's the huge porch.
And those rocking chairs just waiting for you.
Yeah, under the oak trees, dripping with Spanish moss.
That's the picture-perfect image of the Old South.
Right.
There's that touch of the Gothic.
It's like beautiful, but also a little eerie, you know?
Oh, definitely. That contrast is what makes Myrtles so interesting.
It's like a time capsule where the past is kind of seeping into the present.
And some of that past is pretty intense.
All right, so let's talk ghosts.
Can't go to Myrtles without talking ghosts.
Chloe, right?
Chloe's the legend, the one everyone's heard of.
So for people who don't know,
Fill us in.
okay, so the story goes that Chloe
An enslaved woman on the plantation.
was punished for eavesdropping and had her ear cut off.
Ow.
And to get revenge, she baked a birthday cake,
Sounds innocent enough.
but she laced it with poison.
Um,
And Sarah Woodruff, the plantation owner's wife, and her 2 daughters ate it,
that's awful.
and they all died.
A tragic tale.
But here's the thing.
What's that?
There's no proof,
Proof of what?
no evidence that Sarah or her children actually died from poisoning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and even the part about Chloe's ear.
That seems a little too perfect for the story, right?
Yeah, like it was added later to make it more dramatic.
So is Chloe even a real person?
Well, that's the mystery, isn't it?
Yeah. She's become so intertwined with the Myrtles legend.
And people claim to see her ghost.
They do.
Yeah, in the rear gardens mostly.
Interesting.
And some say they feel a chill in that area.
Like a sudden drop in temperature.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like those stories become attached to specific places.
Like energy's lingering there or something.
Maybe so.
Now, Chloe's not the only ghost story tied to a location at Myrtles.
There's more.
The Grand Staircase.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's at the center of a really tragic death.
Okay, this is, I gotta hear.
It involves William Winter. He owned Myrtles at one point,
All right.
and in 1871 he was shot on the front porch.
Shot!
Yeah, he managed to stumble inside,
Wow.
but he collapsed and died on the 17th step of the Grand Staircase,
On the stairs.
right there in the house.
Imagine the scene.
Blood on the elegant carpet.
Chilling.
And people say they hear his footsteps on the stairs.
Even when no one's there.
Exactly. It's like phantom footsteps echoing.
It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it.
And some people feel this weird pressure when they climb those stairs.
Oh, wow.
Almost like they're reliving his last moments.
It's like the weight of history is pressing down on them.
Or maybe the weight of something else.
Something more spectral.
Okay, so we've talked about Chloe and the Grand Staircase, but we can't forget the Haunted Mirror.
Ah, yes, mirror.
It's almost as famous as Myrtles itself.
A classic haunted house element, right?
You walk into the grand entrance hall, and there it is.
This massive, ornate thing.
Yeah, antique gold frame, the whole deal.
Very grand. Very imposing.
But there's definitely something creepy about it.
It reflects more than just your image.
Right, it's like a portal to another world.
Some people say it holds the spirits of Sarah Woodruff and her daughters.
Trapped in the glass forever.
Haunting.
And there are stories of handprints appearing on the surface.
Really?
And faces that appear and disappear.
Like looking back from the other side?
It sends shivers down my spine.
It's that feeling of being watched, you know?
Like the house itself is looking at you.
Observing you waiting.
And that's just the beginning of the spooky stuff at Myrtles.
There's more.
Oh yeah, unexplained noises. Shadows moving in the corners of your eyes, that constant feeling of not being alone.
It's like the house is alive.
Exactly, breathing with all these stories and secrets.
And we're just scratching the surface.
There's so much more to uncover.
I can't wait to dive deeper. It really is a sensory experience being at Myrtles. You're taking in the beauty, the history, and then there's that layer of the unknown.
Yeah, that's what makes it so fascinating. But let's shift gears for a bit and talk about the house itself.
The architecture, the design.
I know you love that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Myrtles is a treasure trove of design details. Each room tells a story.
Okay, so let's start in the dining room.
The heart of the house.
Imagine this. A long, elegant wooden table set for a fancy dinner party.
Crystal chandeliers sparkling above silver serving dishes gleaming.
Ladies in their finest gowns, gentlemen in their suits.
The clinking of glasses, lively conversation.
It's like stepping back in time.
Ah. And those chandeliers? They weren't just any old lights.
What do you mean?
They were probably imported from Europe at the height of fashion.
A status symbol.
Exactly, a way to show off their wealth and taste.
It's amazing how much thought went into every detail.
Every element was designed to impress.
And speaking of impressive, let's move on to the parlor rooms.
Ah, the parlor's all about Victorian opulence.
Think rich jewel tones, plush furniture,
Marble fireplaces with those intricate carvings,
and of course more gilded mirrors.
reflecting the candlelight, creating that warm, inviting atmosphere.
But also a bit spooky at night, right?
Oh, definitely shadows, dancing, flickering flames. It adds to the mystique.
One detail I find particularly interesting is the windows.
What about them?
They have this beautiful fleur-de-lis pattern in gold.
Oh, yes, I've seen pictures. They're stunning.
During the day, they cast these amazing patterns of light on the floor.
So beautiful.
But at night,
What happens at night?
some people say they see faces looking back at them through the windows.
Even when no one's outside.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
It's like those windows become a screen for something else, something otherworldly,
It's those little details that add to the whole Myrtles experience.
making you question what's real and what's imagined.
Oh, and I almost forgot to mention this.
What's that?
The current owner of Myrtles.
Morgan Moss.
Yeah, he actually lives on the property.
Wow, imagine living in a place like that.
With all the history and the ghost stories.
Must make for some interesting dinner parties.
I'm not sure I could handle it.
It takes a certain kind of person to live in a place like Myrtles.
Someone who embraces the past and all its complexities.
Someone who's maybe not afraid of a little ghostly encounter.
Speaking of encounters, for
Fun.
those who want to experience Myrtles for themselves.
You can actually stay there.
Yeah, it's a bed and breakfast.
You can sleep in the main house or one of the cottages.
Imagine waking up in a room where a ghost might have walked.
Gives me chills just thinking about it.
If you're not quite ready for an overnight stay,
There are guided tours,
you can learn about the history, the architecture, and of course the legends.
maybe even catch a glimpse of Chloe or hear William Winter's footsteps.
I think I'll stick to the daytime tour for now.
Probably a good idea.
But whether you stay overnight or just visit for a few hours,
Myrtles Plantation is an unforgettable experience,
it's a place where history and mystery collide.
leaving you with more questions than answers.
It's wild, right? You don't even have to actually be at Myrtles to feel like you're there.
I know what you mean. Just hearing the stories, seeing the pictures, it's enough to spark your curiosity.
It makes you want to know more, like what really happened there.
Right. Are the legends true? Are there really ghosts? Or is it all just our imagination running wild?
And in a way, it doesn't even matter if it's real or not. The stories themselves have power.
Absolutely. They tap into something deep within us, that fascination with the unknown, with the possibility of something beyond what we can see and touch.
I think that's why historic homes are so appealing to people, especially ones like Myrtles.
It's like stepping back in time, connecting with those who came before us, getting a glimpse into their lives, their hopes, their fears.
And maybe even their deaths.
Exactly. It's a reminder that we're all part of this grand tapestry of human experience.
That our lives were intertwined with those who came before and those who will come after.
And maybe places like Myrtles offer a hint that there's more to it all than we currently understand.
Like death isn't really the end.
Perhaps it's just another chapter in a much larger story.
It's a lot to think about.
It is, but that's the beauty of it. Exploration, discovery, asking those big questions.
Well, this deep dive into Myrtles Plantation has been a journey.
I've loved exploring it with you.
From the grand architecture to the chilling ghost stories.
It's a place that truly captures the imagination.
And leaves you wondering what secrets still linger within those walls.
Secrets waiting to be uncovered.
Who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one to do it.
If you're brave enough to spend a night at Myrtles
Maybe you'll have your own encounter with the unknown.
and discover the truth behind the legends.
That's all for our deep dive into Myrtles Plantation.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an open mind.